Right, on this clip now, just today I want to talk about manual metal arc welding, and that is using an electrode. Okay, now for this instance we're using an electrode which is an E6013. Now the thing about manual metal arc welding, this is one of the last welding processes that is truly hands-on, it's truly skilled, because this depends on your eyes, your ears, your muscle strength, your muscle memory, your contact length, how far you keep the electrode off, how far you keep the electrode in, manipulation of the electrode. So a lot of hand skill, and it's not lost, it's still very, very relevant today in a lot of welding processes for manual metal arc. Okay, now first of all I want to talk you through the electrode classification. Now you see we've got a box of electrodes, and we can see here the Arcweld 6013 electrodes, and the 6013, all these mean a specification, they all mean a code. 60 means it's got 60,000 psi tensile strength. The 1 is an electrode, and number 3 is the flux type, which is in this case is rutile. Okay, it's a 2.5 millimeter electrode. Okay, and then you can see there that they confirm to American Welding Society, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, European norm, ISO classifications, so they all actually conform to that specification, so you know you're welding. Now some boxes might have a little diagram on where they show you what position you can weld in. This being a 6013 means it's actually a multi-positional electrode, and you can tell it's a 6013 because when you look at the electrode you can see it's got tamped on. E means electrode, 60,000 pound tensile strength. Number 1 is like it's like electrode and an electrode covering. Okay, and this is rutile, and the reason why it's called rutile, it's made from minerals from the earth. A lot of things that's in here is things like thermite. Some of them contain paper, so it's important at all times that we keep these nice and clean. Okay, now when you're welding, obviously what you're going to do, you're going to use the welding torch. Now on a welding torch, if you can see on the inside in there, it's got all different positions. You can clamp it in that way, you can clamp it straight on, you can clamp it that way, you can clamp it that way for doing an overhead weld. The same as you can do it around this way as well. Okay, so this is a multifunction torch, and what you got to remember is if you've got it sitting in your electrode like that, when you strike an arc, that will arc up because it's live all the time. Okay, so that is how your electrode goes in. So on the end of the electrode you've got your bare covering on there, and that bare covering is the one that goes in the electrode holder like that, to make the contact. Then on the end of the electrode we've got the flux covering at the end, and we've got the electrode wire. Now when you strike an arc, that electrode strikes up, the electrons flow down in like a circular pattern down the electrode, ionize the gap between the material, create an arc, create heat, and that melts the wire. Now what you will find, that's a new electrode, that'll strike an arc very easy. But when you've done a short weld with an electrode, you can see on the end, you might get a bit of a crater in the end. Okay? And the wire is a bit more, it's not exposed like that, it's a little bit further back. So what you would do then is, you strike an arc on the table, that exposes the wire and arcs up the electrode. Okay? So what you got to make sure is when you're finished, always wear your gloves, take the electrode out, put the holder down. Electrodes, always put them in your holder, keep everywhere nice and neat. All the short stubs, you might be finished with your electrodes, always go in the bin, keep everywhere clean and tidy at all times. Because you will find that when you're welding with this, that the flux on the electrode creates a silica slag, which has multiple functions. It helps stabilize the arc, it helps cool the weld, it protects the arc, protects the molten weld from oxidization, but also protects the molten weld while it's cooling down as well. And that's got to be chipped off when you're finished. Okay, so what you got to make sure is all your stubs and all your slag and everything else that you chip off, at the end of the day everything's nice and neat and tidy, I beg your pardon, and tidied up. Thank you.